morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Thursday, November 6th, and we already went through Resh. We've already gone through Vav. We're starting to tie this together so we can make some really deep connections about who the Holy Spirit is and how the Holy Spirit functions. Well, we saw that Resh is that pathetic person that's hunched over. Their intellect and their speech is coming together to glorify themselves. They are corrupt and they are evil. Then we saw that Vav is a hook. So we've got this pathetic person who's evil and corrupt, and now that person is being hooked. Now we're going to look at that last letter, Chet. Chet is the 8th letter, and it represents grace. So now you've got this grace coming in. You've got the pathetic person, you've got the hook, now you've got the grace coming in. It is a fusion of two letters, Vav and Zayin. That's why Vav and Zayin are so important here, because you're putting them together to make that Chet. It's literally a bridge that unites the two. So now we've got this bridge that unites the two letters. In essence, Vav represents the husband, Zayin represents the wife. The bridge that links them is God. So now think about Jesus being the bridegroom. Think about the fact that we are the bride. He's the one that's bringing us into heaven. We don't have to be that pathetic, hunched over, poor, corrupt, evil person, because we are hooked to Jesus. Let's see. The design of the Chet is representative of a bridge. The relationship between man and woman is to be complete. The two are united beneath a chapah, which is a marriage canopy. The form of the Chet looks like the marriage canopy. So when you go to a Jewish wedding and you see that marriage canopy, it is very close to the design and the way that letter is put together. The Talmud tells us that if a man and a woman are meritorious, the divine presence will rest between them. The comparison of a husband and wife's relationship to fire illustrates the secret of a healthy marriage. When two people decide to marry, there is usually fire and passion. Remember, this entire study started because the Lord gave me a vision of a fire. When a relationship begins, it's like that fire, and we kindle that fire, we keep that fire going. So that's not just for the marital relationship, that's also for our relationship with Christ. What are we doing to keep that excitement and that fire and passion for Jesus going? Well, we need to be involved in reading our Bible. We need to have a solid prayer life. We need the fellowship with other believers. It's important that we have those things, because all of that encourages us to grow in our relationship with Christ. That's what that Vav is all about. This poor, pathetic person who's corrupt and evil is being connected to Jesus Christ. And when you put those three letters together, it spells the word Spirit. Let's see, what else do I have here? So as we think about this, and as we think about how that marriage analogy is used so much, Jesus is the bridegroom of the church is the bride. The bride is supposed to keep their lamps burning. We're supposed to have that oil ready and be waiting for that bridegroom. Well, the Holy Spirit's going to give us direction here and there and all over the place. We don't need to slow down. We don't need to stop and think about it. If God's given you direction and He's telling you to step out into your calling, we can step forward with confidence, not because we know what that next step is like, but because He knows what that next step is like. We need to have that boldness to step forward in that obedience. This word is also pointing towards that obedience. God is not going to force us into a relationship with Him. So that Resh is not going to get hooked to the Chet unless we choose to enter into that relationship. And when we made that commitment, it's important that we follow through with it and we continue to grow. As we move forward into the rest of this week, I want you to really think about the fact that when you became hooked to Christ, you became that new creation. The old you is gone, and now it's time to step into that new and transformed life. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.